Hello, my name is Franco, and I'd like to thank you for watching this video, and it should really help you out when it comes to your posing for your next contest. And in addition to, if you're not most clear on the posing, this should just be definitely a good tool for you to follow during the times when you feel like you need a brush up. Now, just to give you a little bit of an idea, what we're going to do is what I usually try to simulate in class. That's why I'm doing this video. It's going to be for bodybuilding only, and this is for men and women bodybuilders. So the women bodybuilding posing is pretty much identical to the men, so it will benefit you also. I am going by the OCB guidelines as far as the quarter turns and the compulsory poses go, as far as doing both side chest and side tricep. I will go over some of the tie-breaking poses that also come into play that a lot of people forget to do or don't know how to do when going into a show. So like I said before, this is just basic outline of the quarter turn, I'm sorry, not the quarter turns, the compulsory poses. To give you the idea, this is how I teach it in class, okay, as far as the tricks and the tweaks go, and how to place and how to feel out the poses. I'm going to go through all of that, so you're going to have it all on record, and you can always refer back to this DVD for your help. Now, just also to include, I do have free, not DVD, but on YouTube, I do have a nice outline of the quarter turns themselves. Okay, so if you need a little help with the quarter turns, please go to my YouTube account, Franco, and you'll find it right there also, the YouTube account, Franco, and you'll see the quarter turns. It's about a 10-minute video. Alright, so first and foremost, when it comes to posing, practicing about 10 to 12 weeks out is what I always suggest to clients, or I know people who are asking. And you may be the best poser out there, you might be great, but it's for body conditioning, and that's why also I have the classes. If you condition your body, you know how to hold the poses well, you're going to look that much better on stage. Remember, you've dieted, you've worked out hard, it's all about prep, but if you don't know how to hold those poses correctly for an extended period of time, you're going to fade. It's going to reflect on the judges, and they're not going to like what they see. So you can have everything in line, you can have even great posing in line, but if you don't know how to hold it, breathe through it, you can be in trouble if you're on stage for quite a while. And you know, as a competitor, I would think you want to be on stage for quite a while. So learn how to hold the poses, build yourself up to maybe 30 to 40 seconds on each pose. That's what I suggest. And you want to start 10 to 12 weeks out from your show, and with that you'll be so much happier, you'll coast right in, and you really don't want it to be an effort. So that's the first and foremost, trick or tip that I give. When you practice your posing, I'm wearing sneakers, but you don't want to wear shoes. You want to get used to the hardwood floor or floor at your home. You don't want to wear shoes for the simple fact that you're not going to be wearing shoes on stage, so therefore you want to get the feel for it. Okay, that's pretty self-explanatory. The next idea that I want to throw out is you don't want to rely on the mirror, alright? Because the first time I ever competed, I used a mirror. I mean, I was 19 years old, I really didn't have any clue. I kept on looking at the mirror, okay? So with that, when I was on stage, I felt lost. I was like, uh-oh, I didn't see the reflection and tell me where to correct the lat spread or the front double bi or what have you. You really want to get used to not using the mirror. The first few times through, fine. But then you want to do a simple trick as far as closing your eyes, hitting a pose, finding your space, opening your eyes, and you see where you're at. That's what I usually suggest in class. So you don't want to rely on the mirror too much. Okay? I mean, if you're you got it down pat, looking at the mirror is not going to bother you, fine. But you want to get that out of the way, not using the mirror. And the last thing, it's not specifically related to this instructional video, is your posing routine. Get that out of the way, okay? I see, I've thrown routines together for people like 2 weeks out, and they're like, well, Joe, I'm ready for my routine, or can you do a routine for me the first time they're introduced to me? I'm like, sure, but you're going to have to memorize this the last few weeks, and do you really want to go through the hassle? I mean, when you start your posing, you're practicing 10 to 12 weeks out, work on your routine, so in a few weeks, you have your music, boom, it's bang, you forget about it, you don't have to worry about it anymore, And then just practice it along with your routine, with your regular posing. So you really don't have to focus on memorizing and finding the sequential order and whatnot. There's so many things that you want to do that you just want to get out of the way when you have the energy, and then you'll be set to go on stage. Alright, so those are the little intro that I wanted to give about posing and what I usually teach in my class. Now here we're going to go over the actual compulsory poses. It's first and foremost, it's always important to establish your steps, okay? And when I say that, it's your steps is your base of your feet. Now when you're doing your front double bicep and front lat spread, which are the first two that you'll be called out on after your front relax, your knees are always slightly bent, pushed out slightly. And what that's going to do, if you don't remember to tense up your legs, bending your knees, pushing your knees out slightly will help bring out the striations. That simple. And then, if you remember and you have the energy, you want to tighten your legs. And then you're up in your front relax. Okay? You really have to figure out what looks best for you as far as spacing between your feet. Some people like to come in closer, some think they got really big legs and they got to go out like this. Find it, see what looks best on you. If you have a trainer, or if you have a friend or a fellow competitor, find what looks best on your spacing. But I usually like to go about 1 inch to 2 inches between my heels, get on top of it, lean forward a tad bit. Okay, so now we're going to fall into the front double bicep. I'm going to keep the same foot positioning. Front double bicep is real simple. We're looking at the width of your shoulders, elbow to elbow, and the V shape of your back. Okay. This is how hard you want to flex. You don't want to get up there and squeeze and squeeze and shake, because it's going to look ridiculous. You should be able to have a conversation, okay? Squeezing that much harder is not going to make the bicep grow anymore. So you're going to bring it up and hold. So the keys for the front double bicep are pretty simple. Your elbows are slightly higher than your shoulders, but your shoulders are not elevated. Your shoulders are relaxed. That's going to make a nicer shape. Elbows a little bit in front of the chest, not straight, not behind, because you're going to thin yourself out. So if you go forward too much, you're thinning yourself out. So knees are solid, okay? Elbows slightly higher than your shoulders, flex the biceps, chest up, good posture. And that's the front double bicep. Okay. Front lat spread, same foot positioning. I mean, you can get fancy and take it out in front, but for simplicity, we're just going to keep it same base. Same base, front relax. I like touching my knuckles behind my back, and you're going to be just above the hip bone and right into the midline of your body. That's where you're going to stop where your knuckles are. So right in the midline. Once you hit that point, then you want to rotate the elbows forward. That's going to accentuate the back to come up, okay? But you don't want to go too far. Again, rolling it forward too much thins you out. You're not coming out enough, you're not going to get the lat spread. So it's just a little bit, okay? So this is where mirror may come into play. Once you get the look, then you'll feel it and you don't have to use it. Again, chest is up. Good posture. This pose, along with the front relaxed and rear lat, people have the most trouble. It's just, and I hate to say it, and a lot of it has to do with you need the back development to really feel the pulling out, okay? I mean, your posing can be dead on, but you try to do too much, you're not going to have enough happening. So really, you want to be patient with the front relax and be patient with the front lat spread, because once the muscle starts building, you're going to have more muscle control to do this pose, because I am not really flexing too many muscle groups here. I'm keeping my legs tight, rolling my shoulders forward, keeping good posture, and I'm holding it, and I'm leaning forward slightly. And you're going to hear me say lean forward slightly only because the judges are sitting below you, and you want to be on that angle. Alright, so we did the front double bicep, front lat spread. Okay, then it's going to be a quarter turn to your right, and it's going to be your side chest and side tricep. This is the side quarter, which I went over with the free version tape. For your side chest and tricep, again, we're going to keep things pretty simple. I mean, you can do different foot positions, but we're just going to flex down right now and spike the calf that's facing the judges for the right side. So again, you start with your legs, you plant, you show off the calf, and you want to sit down on it just a tad bit. You don't want to go too far because that's looking ridiculous. I mean, you see guys that go down, they're squatting down, they come up, and all these crazy arm things. Just hit the pose, fall into it, make it look good. Try not to overdo it, okay? So you're going to sit down on it a little bit, and what this is going to do is going to help accentuate the hamstring to the quad sweep, and if you got any cuts in the glutes, any tightness here, it's going to help come out. Now a trick that I like to do in class to help bring out the hamstring a little bit more is thinking about your curling, okay? Kicking back, because when you do that, you're going to be tightening up the back of your leg, which is your hamstring. So it's one less thing to think about. So you sit down on it and think about curling it back. And then for the side chest, you're just going to bring it up, front arms bent at 90 degrees, okay, at the elbow joint. You're not going to come out too far back because that's less than 90 degrees, and then you start getting space. So the chest is up, roll forward a little bit with the back arm. That's going to bring out this part of your chest, bent at 90 degrees, right here. Common mistakes, again guys, go too back, they come up too much, fall into it. Set up the legs, knees are slightly bent, bring out the calf and the hamstring, 90 degrees, and hold. I do not want to see fingers flaring. Fingers are tight. And boom. Okay? Side tricep. Same idea. We're going to spike the front calf, sit down on it. I don't care how you grab your hands. A lot of guys will cuff them, pull down the fingers, take the back hand, pull the arm down, vice versa. It really doesn't matter as long as you don't see a mess back there. You want to hide it. But you still want to see the tricep. Now when it comes to the tricep pose, I always tell people the tricep is one of the last things that they're looking at. They're looking at the leanness here, the thickness here, and of course the lower body development. Same thing with the side chest. Side chest is pretty much full body, upper body broadness. So we're going to spike the calf, collapse it, squeeze and breathe. Okay? So you're flexing your tricep, you're pulling in your intercostals and obliques, you want to stay tight. You don't want to stick out your stomach and breathe heavy. You want to pull it in tight, get down on it, okay? Alright, so those are the two side poses. And it's going to be the same thing for the opposite side. But I was talking about different foot positionings. Usually with the side chest, I'll personally just keep it here. For the side tricep, just to mix it up a little bit, I like taking the back calf and sitting down on it. And then again, I'm still thinking about sliding this leg so I can help bring out this hamstring if it's out there. So I'm sitting down on it, squeezing the hamstring, showing off the back right calf, breathing out and hitting it. Okay? So those are the first four. Side chest and side tri. You want to master on this side also, because if you're doing an OCB show, you're going to be doing the circle and call it out on both of them. Okay. Now for the two rear poses, you got the rear double bicep, spike a favorite calf, and rear lat spread, spike a favorite calf. Let's hope you can hear me. So when you're doing a rear double bicep, again, after your quarter turn, you want to settle in your feet, your rear relaxed, boom, you're holding this, okay? First step is to spike your calf. I don't care which one, as long as you spike it. I like pretending I'm in a box, okay? Old school way, people will just take their legs straight out. That's fine, but sometimes that's hard to balance. If you go out in the box, so you have 1, 2, 3, 4, and you take it back to right here on the angle, you're going to have a better solid base, 1, and 2, you bring in the heel towards the midline. That's going to help tighten up this glute, this hamstring that much more, and you spike the calf. And then sit down on it just a tad bit to help bring out both hamstrings. So, sit down, spike, hold. And then you fall right into the rear double bicep. Again, it's the same idea as the front double bicep. Elbows are slightly higher than the shoulders, but not raising the shoulders, and flex. A common mistake with this one is guys they'll pump up their arms, they'll squeeze down, and then they forget to come up and they're really thinned out. You want to open it up and be wide, okay? Try not to do too much to get into the pose, because first of all, as a judge and a promoter and competitor, it looks ridiculous. You don't have to draw, if you look good and your pose is dead on, you don't have to draw attention to yourself. try not to do too much. So rear double bicep, spiking the calf, boom, hit it, and hold. It's that simple. Lean back a tad bit. That helps bring out the striations into your lower back. Chest is up, flare in the lats, boom. Okay. Rear lat spread, same lower body positioning, spiking the calf, same thing. But you're going to be doing a rear lat spread. You don't have to worry about your chest and arching your back as much because of the fact you want to really try to stretch it out. So, hold, spike a calf, open it up, and then I like to lean back just a little bit to help bring out any striations in the low back and so the judges can see it really nice. You don't want to lean forward, okay? They're going to miss it. You roll your elbows forward too much, you get too thin, and you don't go out far enough. Again, you're not opening it up. Feel it out, hold. That is a pose that's only going to help if you have someone watching you, obviously. So you get an idea, or you can videotape yourself. Okay, so that's the rear poses. Then we come back around, you can do the side chest again. Okay, real quick. Keep the knees soft, spike the front calf, right elbows 90 degrees, squeeze the left arm forward a little bit to show off the chest, keeping it square. And a couple other things, when you do these side poses, even the side tricep, you want to pretend that you're standing in a telephone booth. You want to stand up tall, but you don't want to like lean side to side. I mean, a lot of guys, and it drives me nuts, when they do a side chest, they're here, they're coming forward. Well, if you came forward that much, you can be banging your head against the telephone booth. Same thing, side tricep, you know, you'll lean back, you'll be banging your head. No, staying up straight, okay? I mean, you want your knees bent. You always want your knees soft a little bit. That's going to help bring out the striations in the legs, but you don't want to go side to side. You know, stay in that telephone booth, that containment, okay? So the last two front poses that we do is hands over head abdominals and also the most muscular. Okay, so we're standing in front relaxed position, and they'll say hands over the head abdominal pose, extended quad. It could be any one unless they specifically call it out, and we'll go over that in a minute. So you're holding. I like to set it up first. I don't like having toes up. I personally like having it planted, or you can lock it out planted. So when you settle in with that, whatever leg that you like is most comfortable, elbows are up high, close together. You're going to breathe out, do a real small crunch, and hold. I mean, don't get too nuts about going side to side, okay? Just hold. You can move it a little bit, you know, and just hold. Again, common mistakes for the abdominal pose. Guys will come crunching too much, they'll wrinkle up, or they'll be out too far and lean back, and the judge is going to look right past you. Okay, these are all body positions that having a helper or a coach, or even the mirror for that first time, you can see. And that's why you want to take pictures and video and see yourself doing them, and then you can self-correct. Okay, the best body position for you. So the abdominal pose, extended quad, your favorite one, hold, hands over your head, boom. Okay, I don't want to see the elbows flaring out too much. Keep it tight and compact. Breathe out, small crunch. Alright, hands on hips, most muscular. Sometimes they'll call out the crab, but we're just going to go over the most muscular because that 99% they will call out. This is all tightness, all out type of pose because you're keeping your abs tight, your chest, your legs, so this is the end pose that you just want to really hit it hard. So in your front relaxed position, you can bring out the leg a little bit if you want, or you can keep it still. Hands are just above your hips, plus the fingers are flush. You don't want to be spreading them out. That's a distraction. Press down on your hip bones as if you're going to go right through your body. That's what you want to try to simulate. Like you're crunching your hands together, breathing out and hitting it hard. Now, again, a common mistake on this pose that I see, guys, they come forward too much. They make them look small. But they don't come out enough and they stick out their chest. It's just, you want to be broad enough to see the width of your shoulders and a little bit of flare to your back, okay? So it's a squeeze down. It's like going right through your body. Squeeze down, breathe out and hold. Okay. Alright, so those are the compulsory poses. Now when you're on stage, you can do them a few times. And that's why I talked about in the very beginning about body conditioning, about posing conditioning. You want to be able to hold them, because if you can go through them one time, great. But you guess what? You may have to do it again if it's a real tight class. If they're comparing, number 5 to number 1, and you want to see it over again, well, you got to do it if you're in that lineup. So you want to be conditioned so it becomes real easy. You don't want to have to be able to, crouch over to catch your breath, or you're not going to be able to say time out when you're on stage. Now to finish this up, there are a few more poses that we like to do in the OCB as far as tiebreakers, and some other federations will do it also. And don't get me wrong, I mean, if you compete in the NPC or any other federation, they're all pretty much standard, but I'm just telling you from my experience what we see as far as shows go. Now, when it becomes a real close class, they're going to have you, if there's like 3 or 4 guys that look pretty much equal, they're going to look for the weak points in between them, okay? Who may be the leanest in their glutes, who may be the leanest in their obliques, so, who's got a better striation or feather look to the quad. They all may be equal in size and symmetry, but it's just that slightness is what's going to take them over the top. And this next round of posing is what's going to do it. Now, the first pose, I mean, there's no particular order, but the first one is going to be the side obliques, okay, the side serratus. So they may say quarter turn to your right, and you're going to say, all right, let's see the side serratus. You're going to start with the same foot positioning as far as planting down as if you're doing a side chest. That's what I like. Arm is over your head, so you're going to open this area up. You can bring this arm over to get some muscularity out of your chest, and you're going to breathe out and crunch down. This is the side serratus, side oblique. This is going to show all the muscles in the ribs right in here, along with the abs. Boom. Common mistakes for this one, guys will go with arms too out. They'll crunch over way too much and hide it. Or they just don't know how to do it. They'll look around like, oh, all right, let's see, So learning ahead of time is important. But keep the whole body tight, open it up, breathe out, and hit. Okay, for the right side, same idea. Boom, and hit. Sit down on it, keep the knees soft, try to get the hamstring and quad tight, leading up to your abs. That's what they're looking at, right here. The next front pose that they can do for a tiebreaker are the extended quad pose, okay? So they'll say, let's see your right quadricep. Flex and rotate your right quad. Boy, are you just going to go up there, all right, move it around? Well, yeah, but don't forget to do something with your upper body. I stress this in class. And I saw this at one of the shows. The guy looked great, but literally he's just talking to his friend. He's like, yeah, how do my legs look, I mean, you want to do something with you're being judged at all times. I mean, if it's a pro qualifying show, you're going to have 7 judges, if not 5. But all those people are going to be going up and down, and they're going to be looking at you. So you want to keep your upper body tight. And if your abs are good, and they call out, extend your right quad, do an ab pose. All right, hold it. Most muscular is good, hold the most muscular, okay? Extend and rotate your left quad. Do something with the upper body. Stay compressed. Draw attention in a positive way by holding your body tight, not loose. So those are the 2 front ones that they look for tiebreakers. The 2 rear poses are simple. Well, not simple. The first one is simple. Up on your calves, okay? I always have trouble with this. Guys, sometimes they can go real wide, up on your calves, and hold and flex the calves. But again, you want to do something with your upper body. I just like to do a rear relax. I mean, you can get fancy and go like this, but, it depends on your balance. But the point is, you want to do something with your upper body. You want to keep your back flexed. You don't want to be rolling forward up on your calves, okay? The last one could be very crucial because this is the hamstring pose. And what they're looking for here is the hamstring bicep, just like your regular front bicep, okay? So they call out, all right, let's see the right hamstring pose. Typically, you want to rotate to the left, keep your back tight, that's what I'm getting at, and flex up at the heel and hold, okay? So we're going to come up, flex at the heel. You don't want to pump it up and down, okay? I mean, you can drop it if you have to, but you want to hold it as if you were doing a bicep pose. Because if they call out rear double bicep, you're not going to go like this. So you come up and hold and keep the back tight. You can do double bicep, doesn't matter, but do something with the back. Same idea with the left. Left hamstring. Come up and hold. Okay? Those are the poses that are really important as far as memorizing and knowing what to do, just in case there's tiebreakers or it's a real close call. They're going to be calling them out, the judges. So that pretty much wraps up the compulsories. I mean, this is an example of what I usually do in class. Obviously, when I'm working with one-on-one, I'll help tweak positioning and, you know, what looks best on them. But, you know, just remember, I mean, that's where you got your friends. If you got your own trainer or you go to a class, you learn, okay? You'll see what's best for you. But what I want you to take from this DVD is the fact that you need to practice. Don't try to wing it. You know, you want to build up the endurance, the posing endurance. You want to find the right placements. You want to have fun with it. Be confident but not cocky. Don't draw too much attention to yourself. Let the posing speak for itself. We don't need attitude on stage because judges are judging you on everything. So I just want to wrap it up and say thank you. I really appreciate you purchasing this DVD, and I hope it really comes out wealthy for you. Well for you, and enjoy it. Please let me know if you have any questions at teamfrancobodybuilding.com. Visit my forum, email me, and good luck. Thank you. My name is Franco, and thank you for watching this video. What we're going to go over today are the quarter turns. Basically, these are the poses that you're going to be in the most. These are the ones that you want to master, especially as a beginner, because that front relaxed pose, you're going to be holding that quite often in your shows. Now, this instructional video can be applied to women bodybuilding and, of course, men bodybuilders. And it's going to be a prelude to what's going to be coming. I'm going to do the mandatory poses also in the near future, and that's going to be for sale hopefully within the next month or so. So this is what I just want to show you, what the package is going to be about, what I can possibly do, what I can help you teach you with as far as the posing goes. Now, the quarter turns, as I said, and I always say this in my class, you want to master these. And they're just so important because this is when the judges get the first look at you. That front relaxed pose, as soon as you come out on stage and you're holding that pose, that is the first look, okay? That's the first impression you're going to be giving all 5 to 7 judges that are going to keep their eyes on you. So you really want to master the quarter turn poses. Now, there are a few tricks, let me not say tricks, but tips that I always remind clients and people who are interested in posing. And first and foremost, you want to practice as often as you can. That's a given, but you want to practice without wearing your shoes, and you want to be on a harder surface. And that's only because you can practice in your sneakers, you can practice on the carpet, but when you step onto that most likely wood stage, it's going to seem foreign to you. So you really want to get the feel for underneath your feet as far as not wearing socks, not wearing shoes, and a harder surface, so you feel more comfortable. You know, the whole idea for practicing is that it becomes real easy when you're on stage. And that's why I'm first going to be teaching you the quarter turns and the basics, so you can practice these and they'll become easy. Another tip is to also practice without the mirror. Okay, you can't see the mirrors in here, but there are mirrors and we use them a lot, you know, to find your space. But you want to not rely on them all the way through your contest prep when it comes to posing. You know, one of my tips to beginners, and I also do this to get reacquainted, is I'll close my eyes, I'll find my spot, and if it feels comfortable, I open and then I reevaluate, or if I have someone watching me. So that will also help you, okay? So those are definitely tips that you want to do. Now, you just don't want to practice to get comfortable with the posing. You want to practice also to help condition your body, because conditioning your body, you know, because you don't know how long you're going to be on stage. Let's put it that way. When you're on stage and you just practice the quarter turns, boom, you know, you're just doing it at home and so on and so forth. Well, you want to hold those poses for some time. And it's because you don't know how long you're going to be up there with that class. It can be a really tight class, and they can have you spinning around, doing the mandatories, doing the compulsories for more comparisons. You know, the bigger the class, the more posing you're going to do. So let's hope that happens, and let's hope that you're prepared. So you condition yourself by practicing a lot. And I say, you know, as soon as you have in mind that you're going to be doing a show, you know, 16 to 20 weeks out, that's when you want to start practicing, or at least mastering the poses. And a few weeks before the show, you should have it down. You should be conditioned posing wise. You should have your routine down. These are just things that you don't want to worry about during the last couple weeks leading up to a show. So those are my little tidbits and tricks and tips, so have you, that you can use going up to your progression for your contest. And again, I'm just going to go over the quarter turns, okay? The basics of the quarter turns, and this should apply to most federations. Not too extensively. I just want you to have a baseline and an idea on how to do them properly as far as footing and posture. And then come down to the future, like I said earlier, I'm going to do the mandatories, okay? We're going to go over all those, and it's going to be packaged up real nice for you. But this is just, you know, something I want to give out to everyone right now. So let's start with the front relaxed pose. And like I said initially, this is the one that you want to master because this is the pose you're always coming back to. Now, when I teach a class or an individual or practice, it always starts with the feet. No matter what pose you're doing, you're going to start with your feet. So I typically have my heels closer together. They're not necessarily touching, toes pointed out, knees are soft. That's what you want to do with the legs. Now, depending on your physique, you may have your heels a little bit closer together or a little bit further out, but you don't want to do anything to exaggerate it. Okay, you want a nice base. Heels close together, toes pointed out, knees are bent. And the reason why the knees are bent is simply to help keep the striations there. Okay, obviously you can't see them on me because I'm fully clothed and it's cold in here, but the point is your knees are soft, just slightly, to have the striations to show. That is the basic bottom line that you want to have for the front relax. Another tidbit that you can do is have your knees pointed out a little bit. That helps bring out the lines. So once you establish your base, you work your body up. Boom. Now this is the front relaxed pose. Basically, you're looking at the width of the shoulders, the lat spread from the rear, hopefully you can see some of it from the front, and the fullness of the chest, fullness of arms. So after you have your legs nice and tight, in the right position, boom, you want to hold it right here. I don't want to see any loose fingers. Fingers are closed. As far as elbow and hand position, your hands are slightly inside your elbows. Okay, you'll see that. You don't want to be too far out because that looks ridiculous with too much space. Too far out here, it's just silly. Your lats aren't that big, and you see a lot of times when guys and girls get tired, they go like this. Nice and compact, okay? Hands are just inside your elbows, chest up. Also, you want to lean forward just a tad bit because usually the pits where the judges are at are below you. So you want to get on top of it. Boom, right there. A lot of times abs are pulled in but not flexed. If you flex them, there's only a few guys I see that can pull that off. But if you flex them down, you start to lose the width of the chest. So you're going to get on top of it. And that's the front relaxed pose. A good way of putting it, sometimes I tell people, pretend you're shrugging weight up with the dumbbells, okay? Dumbbell shrug, bring it up, and hold. There you go, front relaxed pose. They'll say quarter turn to the right, here, with the feet. I like them parallel. Some guys and girls like being locked out, that's fine, that helps keep the glute nice and tight. But feet are parallel, you're going to work your way up, you're going to have a slight turn, okay? I like having the knee slightly bent, sitting on it to help bring out the hamstring. And the other trick with the legs, think about doing a leg curl. If you're doing a leg curl, like bringing your leg back, you're going to keep this hamstring nice and tight. And if they're showing, you want to show it. So let's start from the beginning. Front relaxed pose. You're holding it, quarter turn to the right. I'm keeping the same upper body position. After I fix the legs, I do a slight turn, and boom, right here. You don't want to exaggerate it too much, okay? And look, the judges will tell you to straighten out. You want to still show the width of your shoulders. You can lock the tricep out if you want to, or have it slightly bent. The focus on this pose is obviously the glute the line, the separation between your hamstring and your quadricep, and also the obliques. They're looking at the leanness here along with the upper chest thickness. So you're right here. Okay, hopefully the camera angle's on. Alright? You don't want to be straight, okay? You want to slightly turn. Alright? Heels are flat, parallel. Alright, so let's just look at it again. Front relaxed pose, up on top of it, quarter turn to the right, judge calls, hit it, boom, straight down. Okay? And that goes for the same for the other side. Now, the rear quarter turn, when you're facing the rear, a couple things you have to keep in mind. You're not going to see your chest, you're not going to see your abs, so if you are trying to stay a little tight up top, don't worry about it, okay? Really here what they're looking for the rear relaxed pose is the width of the back, the tightness of the glutes and the hamstrings, okay? So let's just take it all the way through and I'll talk it through. Front relaxed pose, get on top of it, knees are soft, pushing the kneecaps out. Quarter turn to the right, parallel, slightly bent if you want, rotate, breathe out, and then there's the rear relax. I like taking a little bit wider stance, and you're going to lean back into it just a tad bit. You're leaning back simply for the fact to show off any striations you have in your low back, and also because, again, the vision is on an angle. It's not directly at you. So you want to lean back, help those judges see the width of your back. Glutes are tight, hamstrings are in tight, and you're leaning back. Hand position is the same as far as front relaxed pose. Hands are just slightly inside of your elbows, not flared out past your elbows, almost underneath your armpits. Okay, so that's the simplicity of the quarter turn. So hopefully this was helpful, and I'm going to go into the mandatories. So hang tight, and one of these days I'm going to have it out. I'll put you on a mailing list. If you're interested in learning more about posing, please reach me at fitfranco@verizon.net. And if you want to learn more about the mandatory poses as I work on that video, please let me know. I'm going to package it all together along with my contest prep podcast. Okay, so there's about 90 minutes of information there that I'm also going to throw in for you. Any questions? Find me on the web. You guys know I'm there. Okay? Thank you very much.